Happy Canada Day! We're so excited to celebrate with Canadian Affair by taking you on a journey through our Race Across the World adventure across Canada.
Get ready for some incredible stories, some unforgettable moments, and all the lessons that we picked up on the way.
Follow along as we relive this amazing experience together. We can't wait to share it with you. Let's go!
Well, I'd seen series 1 and series 2. Absolutely loved it. I like travelling anyway, and I just thought it'd be something amazing and something different. So I applied, and it said to do this 1-minute video, and so I did. And then I submitted the application and went, Cathy, do you fancy doing it? She had no idea.
I hadn't even watched it, so yes. So Trish asked me about travelling with her, which of course, I mean, travelling, why would I not want to do that? Because I love travelling.
With me.
Obviously, with Trish. We've done a couple of holidays together, haven't we?
Yeah, but not travel, not adventures.
No, we've never done an adventure together. So, yes, but it wasn't down to me. It's all her fault.
Always my fault.
Well, we didn't know we were going to Canada.
This is very true. We didn't know until we got to the airport.
So I was preparing for potentially an 8-week trip, travelling. All I knew was that we weren't allowed to fly. So it was going to be public transport, lifts, walking perhaps. So we didn't know what kind of terrain we were going to be on. So walking boots was essential. So walking boots and trainers, I think, I took.
Because we had a guide of pack between, I think it was like -3 and +23. Yeah. And it said, bring your sun cream and your bobble hat and your bikini and your waterproofs. So
it was all very random.
Very vague.
But we layered, didn't we? Yeah. So we took loads of layers because it's easier to take layers off than to start changing completely. So walking boots, we were quite sensible with it. Yeah. Walking boots, waterproofs, but also shorts and t-shirts.
Zip off trousers. They're trousers, but also shorts.
Ah, there you go. See, there you go. She's got it. Well, when we landed in Vancouver, it was this huge city, and knowing that that's where we were kind of starting from, it was a little bit scary because it was like, oh my goodness.
And Canada is vast.
It's huge. It's a huge place. I knew that the Canadians are very friendly and generous people. I already knew that. And that came across immediately, didn't it?
Yeah, even before we started the race. You know, this man, we went to get a coffee and some lunch, and he opened the door and he was like, have a nice day, and he was just lovely. So it came across straight away, didn't it?
I mean, Vancouver is a huge city. It's got a huge amount of culture, and there's a big history to it, fabulous architecture, and it was exciting to be there, really exciting to be there. Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about Canada. I presumed it was very much like America.
How dare you?
I know, I'm sorry. But I didn't know because I've never really thought about going to Canada. I knew they loved ice hockey, and that's about it, really. So for me, it was this massive adventure of unknown. And I didn't realise the provinces were so different.
Yeah. So. It was fantastic and very exciting.
Very exciting.
So, did you find any leg easier or harder than you expected?
Yeah, actually I did. So, as the viewers will know, that my husband was really poorly when I got to Churchill on, I think that was leg 4, wasn't it? Got told he was really poorly, so mentally leg 5 was really hard for me, just not knowing what's going on at home.
Yeah.
But also the fact that we had a 12-hour journey on a train that was horrific.
It was fab.
I'm like a tiger. I get caged and I hate it. And then we had a hideous journey on an overnight bus, and I say bus because it was more like a transit van with church pew seats in it.
It was. Oh my God, it was. It was awful.
And we were overnight, and we were going down the biggest potholes you've ever seen in your life on these church pews overnight, and the mosquitoes. Oh my God, they were horrendous. So yeah, I found that leg extremely hard.
That was hard, yeah.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah.
What about you?
Gosh, I think the hardest one for me was when we left Dawson City. So that would have been leg 3.
The elimination round.
Yeah, because I had this big thing that I did not want to be eliminated.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to be eliminated. I didn't mind how far I went after that, but I didn't want to be eliminated.
You were really thinking about it,
I just had this thing about it.
Yeah.
So, and that leg, we had to rely on lifts all the way down.
We did, didn't we?
The whole way.
Yeah, and that was all the way from Dawson.
Oh, well, we had the bus out of Dawson, but that was really expensive.
Was it $253 each or something?
It was really expensive.
Yeah.
And that took us to Whitehorse, and then we literally had to get lifts all the way down to Banff.
Yeah.
I found that really hard.
Yeah, because you don't like asking for lifts, did you?
I didn't like relying on other people.
No.
And then we had the guy who wanted to charge us $600.
I forgot about him. Oh yeah, because it was literally the last bit to get to Banff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I'll give you a lift, and then went away, cleaned his van, came back and said he wanted $600.
$600, and it was just ridiculous. I think that was my hardest one.
Yeah. I don't think it's evolved. I think, we've always been strong as a team and as a partnership. Anyway, I think it just reiterated that we're going to grow old disgracefully.
Oh, totally disgracefully. Yeah.
I think it's cemented for me, because I've got real bad self-conscious and self-doubt.
Yeah, you've got quite low self-esteem.
Yeah, so for me it kind of went, well, actually, she's not going to dump me in the middle of nowhere. We're not going to have an argument and not be friends ever again.
No.
Especially when
that's not going to happen.
No, but I know that now.
Yeah.
But I know I do that. Oh God, I'm going to really annoy her. I'm going to do this to her. I'm going to do that to her. And actually, it's catastrophizing in my head.
Yes.
So yeah, that's. I don't think it changed our relationship. I think it cemented it.
And I think now we've got this bond that we've done this incredible thing, but nobody else will ever understand what we've done and what we've been through. We can talk about it. We can tell everybody about it. But nobody else apart from us will actually understand and know those feelings and feel those feelings.
Yeah, feel those feelings. So when we say about the incredible highs, you can feel it.
Even now, I can
like,
sort of... Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Coming first in Banff, it's like...
I know.
Yeah.
And how do you think we supported each other throughout the race? Because we had these massive highs and lows.
Yeah.
So how did we support each other?
Well, you supported me massively, not physically because I'm a lot bigger, but no, mentally. I mean, me with my height thing, you just talking.
Oh, your fear of
to me,
heights, I believe in you.
Yeah, problem is I don't believe in me. Oh, I cringe every time I see that. But that's the thing, you supported me massively through things like that, and through when Matt was poorly.
Yeah.
You didn't say, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, or you didn't put your opinion across or anything. You were there for me. If I needed a hug, you were there. If I needed space, you weren't there. So you were just the best.
Oh,
the best. And hopefully I supported you a little bit.
Oh, you did, yeah, definitely. When we did have those low points, just knowing that you were there, it gave me courage. So being with you, it gives me courage, it makes me brave, and it makes me do things that I genuinely would not do if you weren't here. Some of them are a bit silly, but you know, that's all part of the fun. I mean, we had that amazing time with First Nation communities. And I wasn't expecting to do that. You know, we had the experience in Haida Gwaii, and then in Jasper as well, and then in Medibanagia Park in New Brunswick. So,
Still can't say that.
So being able to experience time in their communities I found that quite magical, particularly with Matricia in Jasper. She was amazing, actually, and it was a particularly stressful leg.
Yes, it was.
Because that was the elimination round. And we spent time with her in Jasper, and I came away feeling empowered and very calm, and really kind of happy with me, who I was, and that she showed me that it's okay just to be you and to appreciate everything around me. And that was, very empowering. So spending time with First Nation people who were very sort of proud of their own heritage, and they cared very deeply for their community and their land. That was lovely. I really enjoyed that.
They were beautiful communities.
Yeah.
Every community we spent with the First Nations, well, every community, they were just so proud of their country and just so proud to be who they are.
Yeah, and the Canadian people are hugely generous. They're very friendly, and they are very willing to help you.
Yeah, massively.
You know, and that's something that's perhaps missing a little bit in general across the UK.
Yeah.
But we had some fabulous times, didn't we? With various different locals, and the people, I believe, who won it for us were Dean and Terry Lynn.
Oh, yes.
At the end.
Yeah, they did.
I think without them we wouldn't have won it.
No. They are beautiful people.
Yeah.
But the Canadians as a whole are so lovely, so proud of being Canadian.
Yeah, they are.
But not in your face.
Oh gosh, no. They're just like, they're quite chilled.
They're
quite
very chilled.
Yeah, quite a chilled
nation.
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved it.
I did.
Loved it.
I'd quite like to live out there, I think, but
I don't know whether they'd have you.
I don't think they would. I'm not chilled enough. Oh, there's so many. But I think kind of on the first leg.
Oh, okay.
Myself and Cathie. You are Cathie.
I am actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. The two of us got to spend a day with a lovely lady called Trisha. So and she took us down to see some wildlife there, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
The eagles. And we were not feeding the seals at all.
No, we were not feeding the seals.
We just had some fish bait, cut-offs of fish, and we were putting them in the water to bring them back to life. And you hit me on the bum with a frozen fish.
Okay. And that's your standout memory that you will cherish forever. Never mind standing on the frozen sea in Churchill. Or seeing the Northern Lights.
Oh, the Northern Lights.
From the train. Never mind that. Her memory that she cherishes is me hitting her on the bum with a wet fish. You can keep that in if you like. There were so many places, weren't there? I really loved Quebec City.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I loved the old and the new. Do you remember walking around old Quebec with those little narrow streets and the beautiful houses
and the quirky little shops?
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got the chateau and breakneck steps. Luckily, no necks were broken. But I loved Quebec City.
Yeah. I think we both said, oh, we'd love to come back for a weekend.
And then realised it was in Canada.
But it has got a very Parisian style to it.
It is. It's very French.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's got its own identity, hasn't it? I loved Quebec City. Yeah, I'd love to go back there. Yeah.
Cool. I think I would love to go. I would love to go back to Dawson City.
Yeah, you loved it up there, didn't you?
I did. It's like a living museum, so it's all very Gold Rush City, or Gold Rush Town, but the people are all really friendly. But they've got things like diamond tooth Gerties, and
that was the cabaret bar. Yeah.
And they've got the sourdough.
No.
If you don't know about the sourdough, just look it up. But I want to do that. Some of the other teams got to do it. But I'd love to be able to explore a bit more, because we didn't really spend a lot of time there. So
we did do the gold panning though.
We did.
That was good.
We found gold.
Yeah, we did.
We couldn't spend it though.
No.
It wasn't in our budget.
I think it was worth about 25 cents. But we found it, and it was a great experience to do it.
Apart from obviously the bit with my husband and not knowing, whether to go or stay.
Yeah.
For me, the toughest bit was actually not knowing where we were going right at the beginning.
Okay.
Being dumped in Vancouver and knowing that we've got to get all the way to St. John's, but not knowing where we were going in between.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the map of Canada was the same width. Canada was height-wise.
Yeah. Well, that's not hard, really, is it?
Yeah, but Vancouver on the map was like a pinprick, and just looking at how vast the country was, for me, I was like, oh my God, am I going to see anything? So when we got to Saskatoon, or Saskatchewan, sorry.
Well, we were travelling through Saskatchewan, weren't we?
It was flat, and I couldn't make out kind of what these spots were in the distance. The spots in the distance were towns or houses, and because it was so flat, it was really hard for me to distinguish. So that was the hardest bit for me, I think.
Yeah.
What about you?
I found the lack of money challenging. Not because I wanted to just grab a taxi or it wasn't that so much. It was the uncertainty of not knowing where we were going to stay that night. And do you remember in Montreal, when we got to Montreal?
Yes.
It was Formula One, so we didn't know that, obviously, and trying to find somewhere to stay in Montreal.
Yeah, because it was $500 a night, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we were very fortunate. You found a very kind young man who was helping find somewhere to stay. And the place we found was in a town outside Montreal, but we got into the city centre on the bus. We then had to catch a train and get off the train and then catch another bus and then to the motel, which we found.
That was $130, wasn't it? So it was a massive difference in price, and I think it was like $2 to get us there, wasn't it?
But that was a really tough moment. A lot of uncertainty there. It's such a diverse country. You've got such a lot of diversity in culture, in geography.
Oh, huge.
I think it's almost like each province or territory, or the ones we saw most of them, didn't we?
We did.
Each one is like its own country. It has its own identity.
Completely different, isn't it?
Totally different.
Because you go through the Rocky Mountains and then you go to the next province, which is as flat as a pancake.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think St John's in Newfoundland. Because I hadn't, it's not a place that was ever on my radar.
Yeah.
I'd only ever thought about Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa,
Quebec,
but I'd never thought about St John's and Newfoundland. Yeah. Not even Halifax, really, in Nova Scotia. And it's so easy to get there.
Yeah, because they do it from Heathrow or Glasgow? Gatwick, sorry.
Yeah, there is a flight. I think it's seasonal, but there's a flight. It's 5 hours to St John's, and St John's is fabulous.
Oh, there's so much to do there, and you've got to be screeched in if you go.
You've got to be screeched in, which is a tradition in Newfoundland. You get screeched in, and you become an honorary Newfoundlander.
But St John's. There's so much to do. There's adrenaline stuff. There's relaxing stuff. There's all sorts.
There's loads of hiking trails, boat trips. Yeah. It's a really good place to base yourself to go off and do loads of different adventures. Yeah. Newfoundland is very rugged, isn't it? And at the right time of year, you can see the icebergs. Yeah. If you've got to head out slightly from St John's, but you can use St John's as a base. Yeah. To do all sorts of different things.
But there's loads of, it's a foodie heaven place, isn't it? So there's loads of lobster, loads of oysters.
Very fresh fish.
Very fresh fish. So St John's, and I like that.
Oh yeah, St John's, I think. Yeah, go to St John's.
Yeah, or Dawson City.
Your favourite?
It is. That and Churchill are absolutely my favourite, because, Dawson City, because it is quite high up, people don't kind of go there as much.
It's a very long way north.
It is a very long way north. But there's a train up there, same as Churchill. Well, the only way you can get to Churchill is by the train or fly. At least Dawson, you could drive there. So, both of those places are completely different. And it's not somewhere that you go, oh, you know what, I'm going to go to Churchill for a week on holiday. But actually, there's so much wildlife in both areas. Again, very rugged, very, very different from the Ottawas or the Montreals and Torontos. Even though they say cities, it's more like a big town, really.
It is. It's more of a town than a city, isn't it? Yeah, cool.
Those two. Yeah. I mean, how do you think the experience has changed your perspective of travel and Canada?
It's certainly changed my perspective on Canada, because I had no idea about the diversity of it all. Yeah. My only previous experience of Canada was in Toronto, and I didn't know how diverse Canada was as a country. So it's definitely changed that. And as far as travelling's concerned, I just need adventure now. I'm searching for adventure, and I need to travel and, go off the beaten track, get my backpack on, and that's what I want to do now. And it's a real sort of wanderlust now, having done that. Definitely.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I used to go on holiday and just hire a car and drive and see wherever it was. So I've never really done the beach holiday. Mind you, it wasn't me driving, it was hubby, because I can't drive. Yeah. But I've never done this lie down on the beach thing, because I'd burn under a 60-watt light bulb. So, lying on a beach isn't great. But yeah, the adventure part of it, I need to have that again.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for being a part of our Race Across the World journey.
We hope you enjoyed following along and celebrating Canada Day with us.